Today we're going to be giving our full spoiler review for the Odyssey. Let's get into it.
It is time again for movie musings.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Odyssey. It's currently out in theaters as of the time I'm recording this. So we're going to give our full spoiler review here, including our rating. And the way that works is we break that down into 5 categories: entertainment, story, acting, special effects, and action sequences. I'm going to do things a little different this time. Normally, I try to go in chronological order through the movie and kind of give my feeling on some of how the movie falls out. But I might be jumping around a little bit today. The way I'm going to do it is we're going to start off with the entertainment value, which I gave a 7 out of 10. It was entertaining. Um, in some parts, it was a little slow. In other parts, it was way too fast. And we'll go over that in some more. So I'll just break all that down as we head along. For the story, I gave a 6 out of 10. Now, mind you, that's not a rating of the actual the Odyssey that's been around for ever since forever, but that is just the script for the movie itself and how that unfolded. So keep in mind that's pretty much how this whole review is for the movie and uh, not the actual written word. So I gave the story a 6 out of 10. I thought the way they showed the movie and a little bit of flashback here and there, I thought was a little bit of a mistake, especially for someone not familiar with the story. It could be very jarring, and at times you didn't really know where you were, what was going on. I thought, and my daughter, who is an avid Greek mythology fan and scholar, gave me some pointers and tips too that I didn't even realize until she said it. But and we both did agree that it should have been 2 parts. The first part of the movie, uh, the first challenges were very rushed, and uh, it could have been plotted out more in a 2 movies. I think 2 hour 45-minute movies even, but 2 2-hour movies would have been a lot better than the one almost 3-hour movie. So uh, other than that, for the story, there were some other parts during the movie that from the story that was left out and or changed. But mainly, there were some things that were left out that um, I just didn't understand. The whole scene with the Cyclops, in the actual uh, book, he gets out of there by using his brains and his cunning by saying, nobody when the Cyclops asks who's there. He says nobody, and then the other Cyclops comes and he says, "Is who's here?" And he says nobody. Well, you don't get that. It's just they put a spear through the end of the Cyclops' ear, into his eye. Now, I will give you that primordial scream from the Cyclops was incredible and some very good sound editing. Uh, but they used that in order to be able to get out. And another thing was, they, in this scene, he uses that nobody to get away from the Cyclops. Well, here, after he gets outside, and I guess it was to show his arrogance, he shoots one more arrow at the Cyclops, which enrages him and chases him and ends up killing 2/3 of his crew because he did that. Whereas if they just would have left, they would have all been fine. And it did a good job of showing his arrogance, but what it didn't do a good job of showing was his intelligence, which the nobody scene I think would have been much better for that. Um, we go to the writing for Calypso, while good, was a little bit odd as well. Um, you see her telling him to remember in the that he needs to remember, but for 7 years she coerced him into not remembering by giving him the White Lotus. And it was just an odd change of character for her because her curse was to be on this island and um, not to be able to leave and to fall in love with whoever showed up there. So it was a little that was a little odd and out of character for the character, in my opinion. And he cried almost every night, and it was mentioned, but it would have been nice to see it again. This is where extending the movie to two movies would have helped. We could have seen that emotional scarring a lot more and had the bigger build up for that. As it turns out, it played out in a matter of minutes. Really, I mean, it was this is how they did the time jumps with him telling Calypso the story of his memories, and which was not a bad idea, but it could have been extended out a little bit further. And uh, Calypso's reason for helping I mean, she never gave a reason for helping him. She just said he needed to go, and I guess part of that was Athena um, wanted to save him. So, um, like I said, the beginning was choppy. It was a little confusing. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend reading a summary of the Odyssey, not of the movie, but of the book, to get a little bit of an idea. Because if not, you were going to be really lost in the beginning. I even heard somebody say, a girl said when she was walking out, "I have no idea what I just watched." So again, I think that was part of the that it was rushed. Um, so I would highly recommend that, and it's worth seeing in the theater. I'll get to the acting. I thought was very good. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Especially, uh, I thought Anne Hathaway did a tremendous job in her role. Everybody did good in the role, and I thought Zendaya did a good job. I liked the reasoning behind why Zendaya was Athena. Athena took her form because in the end it was somebody who lost their life um, because of the war and what Odysseus did. So I like that aspect of it, and she was great in the role as well, and everybody was great. So the acting was really good. Sometimes they just didn't have a lot to work with, and sometimes it was the acting was a little muted. Um, but I'm going to move to special effects. I'm going to include some lighting problems I thought in the special effects. The actual special effects were good. The practical effects they used were great. I know um, that they said that Cersei's whole scene, that there was no CGI and all that, which is pretty incredible. It was a very intense scene with the pigs and turning them into the pigs. It was really well done and pretty gruesome. Um, and I know they had uh, a puppet for a lot of the Cyclops scenes, but so it was good. The CGI was good. The lighting though, it was just so dark. The fight scenes were so dark, especially the final one. Uh, I would have liked to have been able to see more. And I know it wasn't the theater because I had just seen Evil Dead Burn the week before, and that's a very dark movie, but I had no problem seeing all the detail and the highlights in that movie. So it's a shame because I know how much work they put into the fight scenes. It would have been nice to be able to actually see them a little better. Um, and one more thing about Cersei, bringing all the men up there due to hunger. Well, they were also because she was supposed to be alluring and very beautiful. And I'm not saying the actress isn't a pretty actress, but they dressed her peasantly, and her hair was not done. And I don't know. They were there for the food, and that was it. So, which when you're hungry, I mean that's all you really want, I suppose. But that wasn't in character with Cersei's character from the book. I thought the bow scene was incredible in the final act when Odysseus came back and actually revealed himself and got the bow strung and shot through all the axes. That was great, and it was very well written. A lot of the emotional scenes in the movie are well done, um, and obviously that's where the actors shined. Uh, as far as the sea, it was good they were actually They actually filmed boats on the sea, which was nice. I thought that for a Christopher Nolan movie, I thought the cinematography was a bit of a letdown, to be honest. I was used to these big, beautiful sceneries, and it was all muted out. And I know it's a dark story, but it still would have been nice to see some beautiful scenery, and even if it was nighttime, they could have lit it. I know they've used blue lights and stuff to signify it's nighttime, but it could have been done a little better, in my opinion. Um, I know my daughter told me at times she thought that the B plot, which was Penelope and Telemachus, it was more well written than the main plot. You could actually tell what was going on, um, and it's what made her feel like Odysseus needed to go home because this dude's not a good guy. He's got some really bad plans, and but in the end, um, Tom Holland's character was good. I don't want to mispronounce his name, and but they did a good job with that reunion as well. When he bent down to um, say hello to his dog that just hung on, sorry, long enough to see him return and then passed away. Um, and I know there was supposed to be a lot more men there. It's hard to show that 600 men in a movie like that without getting lost in all the characters. So I can understand the reasoning for not having that many. Uh, the trials were good, but like I said, they happened so fast. It would have been nice to have expanded that a little bit. Excuse me. But special effects, I ended up giving a 7. The action sequences were good, but like I said, they were dark. So I gave that a 7 out of 10 as well. My overall rating ended up being right at the 7 out of 10, which is pretty low for a Christopher Nolan movie for me. I mean, I loved Interstellar and all of them. He's done so many, um, and I liked it a lot. I recommend seeing in a theater, but just don't go in blind if you know nothing about the Odyssey, because it is a little hard to follow. My daughter had to remind me of some stuff that I'd forgotten. I hadn't read it since I was in school, which was a very long time ago. And but I enjoyed it. Was it Christopher Nolan's best? I don't think so. I think if he would have split it into two, it would have been much better, and even maybe one of his best because of the. Now I thought Agamemnon, his armor was really cool looking. They really cast him into a dark figure. His whole story is pretty dark, and the siege on Troy, the horse, which was real wooden horses they built for the set and used. That whole scene was really good to show what they went through inside the horse while they were just waiting. I mean, you forget how they're in there, and you still go to the bathroom. You're still hungry. You still need water, but you can't because you're waiting for your opportunity. So they did good in that. And the sacking of Troy showed later how much regret he had, not for taking Troy, but the way the soldiers just killed everybody and without thought for women or children. It was brutal, and they showed it. So, well, I hope you see it. If not in a theater, definitely watch it at home. And it was worth a look. Um, I want to thank you for joining me today for the Odyssey review. If you would subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube, I'd appreciate it, and you'll get notified of upcoming episodes. Also on Facebook, please like and share there as well. Help us grow. I'd appreciate it. And if you let me know your comments, let me know in the comments what you felt about the movie, what you liked, what you didn't like, and your rating as well. And if you have any thoughts or comments on topics or anything you want me to cover, leave those there as well. And I'll see you next time.